The morning sun rose over Dawn Valley. Golden light spilled across green fields. Farmers were already working. Children were already running. Smoke curled from stone chimneys. Birds flew above rivers so clear that fish could be seen from the shore. It was peaceful, almost too peaceful. Then, crash! A young man burst through a wooden fence. Ow! He rolled down a grassy hill before stopping face first in the dirt. Silence. Then, another voice. I got him! A girl around his age leaped over the broken fence. No! You didn't! Kazuki Arata shot to his feet. 17 years old. Black hair, dark eyes, ordinary appearance, the kind of face people forgot 5 minutes later. Except, his movements were strangely smooth. He moved with the balance of a hunter and the reflexes of someone who trained every day. He grabbed a fallen apple, turned, and threw it. Thunk! The girl yelped. The apple landed perfectly on her forehead. You cheat! You chased me first! You stole my lunch! I borrowed it! You ate it! Kazuki scratched his cheek. Technically true. The girl lunged. Kazuki dodged. She crashed into the dirt. A few nearby farmers laughed. Young again, huh? They've been at it since sunrise. I bet on Mira. I bet on Kazuki. Kazuki sighed. This happened almost every day. Life in Dawn Valley was peaceful, simple, sometimes too simple. Then, boom! Everyone turned. A loud explosion echoed from somewhere in the village. Nobody panicked. An old man continued planting vegetables. Ah, he nodded. The workshops again. Another farmer sighed. Hopefully they didn't blow up the water pipes this time. Kazuki blinked. You aren't worried. Not particularly. Mira stood up. If the workshops explode, Lord Ren will fix it. Everyone nodded. Kazuki nodded too. That sounded right, because Lord Ren somehow fixed everything. Broken mills, collapsed roads, failed harvests, arguments, floods. Nobody knew how. He simply did, as if solutions appeared from thin air. Kazuki looked toward the center of the valley. A large building sat there. Not a castle, not a palace. Just a large wooden office. Outside it, children were climbing on the roof. Kazuki frowned. They're going to get in trouble. An old woman laughed. With Lord Ren? No. Exactly. Nobody ever got into trouble with him. That man was strangely impossible to anger. Another explosion. Boom! This time smoke rose from the workshops. An old man sighed. Definitely the water pipes. Everyone returned to work. Kazuki looked confused. His homeland was weird. Very weird. And he loved it. Then a bell rang. Ding! 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 The entire valley stopped. People looked toward the center. An elderly woman smiled. Oh? Another man grinned. Looks like today's the day. Kazuki blinked. The day for what? Nobody answered. Instead, everyone looked at him and smiled. Kazuki suddenly felt uneasy, very uneasy. 20 minutes later. Kazuki stood outside Lord Ren's office. The door was open. Inside, chaos. Papers covered the floor. Maps were pinned to walls. Books were stacked everywhere. Children were drawing on one of the maps. One boy was asleep on the couch. And behind the desk sat a man in simple clothes, brown hair, warm eyes, around 30 years old. He didn't look like a ruler. He looked like someone's older brother. Lord Ren looked up. Oh, he smiled. Kazuki. Kazuki smiled. Morning. Morning. Silence. One of the children pointed. He looks nervous. I'm not nervous. You definitely are. I'm definitely not. Lord Ren laughed. You are. Kazuki frowned. Maybe a little. Lord Ren leaned back. Sit. Kazuki sat, then noticed something. The room was full. Village elders, Teachers, hunters, craftsmen. Why were they all here? Everyone looked serious. Too serious. Lord Ren folded his hands. Kazuki! Yes? How old are you? 17. And what happens when citizens turn 17? I don't know. The room became quiet. Lord Ren stared. You forgot. Kazuki blinked. I forget a lot of things. The room sighed. Lord Ren pinched the bridge of his nose. Educational exchange. Silence. Kazuki blinked. Blink, blink. Oh! Everyone stared. That's it? What else am I supposed to say? You forgot one of the biggest events of your life, Kazuki thought. Sorry. The room collectively sighed. Lord Ren laughed. You never change. Kazuki smiled sheepishly. The educational exchange. Right. Every year, several young people left Ashera. They studied other nations, their customs, their people, their technologies. Then they returned home. It had existed for generations. Nobody questioned it. Lord Ren believed understanding others prevented war. So every young citizen participated. Kazuki had simply forgotten, which, unfortunately, was normal for him. Lord Ren opened a drawer, pulled out a letter. You've been assigned. Kazuki accepted it, opened it, read, silence, read again, then slowly raised his head. I'm leaving tomorrow? The entire room nodded. Kazuki almost fell out of his chair. Tomorrow? You forgot. You could have reminded me. We did. When? 3 months ago. Oh, then again. Oh, and yesterday. I was fishing. The room sighed again. Lord Ren laughed so hard, he nearly dropped his tea. Leaving home. The realization slowly settled. Tomorrow. He was leaving. Leaving Dawn Valley. Leaving home. For the first time in his life. The room suddenly felt smaller. The laughter faded. Even Lord Ren's smile softened. It's only for 1 year. I know. You'll come back. I know. But Kazuki looked down. I've never left. Silence. A village elder smiled. Everyone feels that way. Another nodded. I cried. You cry over everything. True? Laughter returned. Somehow, it helped. Lord Ren stood, walked around his desk, then sat beside him instead. No throne, no distance. Just beside him. Like family. You know why we send people away? Kazuki nodded. To study. Partly. Lord Ren looked outside the window. But mostly, so our people remember the world is bigger than this valley. Kazuki listened. There are races you've never met. Nations you've never seen. People who think differently. People who struggle. People who are wonderful. And some who are dangerous, he smiled. You'll learn from all of them. Kazuki looked down. What if I fail? Lord Ren blinked. Fail at what? I don't know. Silence. Then Lord Ren laughed. Actually laughed. The entire room joined him. Kazuki frowned. What's funny? You? Me? Lord Ren smiled. Kazuki, you once survived 3 days in the western forest because you forgot where your house was. I was exploring. You accidentally built a bridge. It was a small bridge. People still use it. Silence. The room nodded. Kazuki looked away. I still don't see the problem. Lord Ren laughed again. You'll be fine. For some reason, Kazuki believed him. Dasad, the strange ruler. After the meeting ended, people left, one by one. Eventually, only Kazuki and Lord Ren remained. Silence. Then, want tea? Sure. They prepared tea together, like old friends. Lord Ren looked oddly relaxed. No guards, no servants, no luxury. Kazuki frowned. You work too much. I came here 3 times this week. You were here every time. Probably. When do you sleep? Sometimes. That's not an answer. Lord Ren smiled. Kazuki sighed. You really work too much. Lord Ren sipped tea. Maybe. Silence. Then, will you miss me? Kazuki blinked. What kind of question is that? A normal one. Of course. Oh. Lord Ren looked strangely happy. Kazuki frowned. Why are you smiling like that? No reason. There is definitely a reason. Nope. Silence. Lord Ren drank more tea, then suddenly asked, Do you know what kind of person I was at 17? Kazuki thought. Probably boring. Silence. Lord Ren slowly lowered his teacup. That was rude. You asked? I regret asking. Kazuki grinned. Lord Ren sighed dramatically, then smiled. At 17, I knew absolutely nothing. Kazuki blinked. You? Me? No way. Way! You fix everything. I definitely do not. You do. No. You do. Silence. Then both started laughing. The truth was, nobody in Dawn Valley thought much about it. Lord Ren solved problems. That was simply normal. As normal as rain. As normal as sunrise. Kazuki had never questioned it. Why would he? This was home. Then a knock interrupted them. A soldier entered. Lord Ren. The northern representatives have arrived. Oh! Another knock. Lord Ren! The Eastern merchants are here! Another. The engineers need your approval! Another. The harvest reports! Another. The ship designs! Another. The ambassadors! Silence. Kazuki slowly looked at him. Lord Ren smiled awkwardly. Busy day? You think? Kazuki stood. I'll leave you to it. Lord Ren sighed. Probably wise. Kazuki reached the door, then stopped, turned. Try sleeping. I'll try. You said that last month. I'll try harder. Liar. Lord Ren grinned. Kazuki left. Neither of them noticed that several people outside the office had watched the conversation with expressions of absolute disbelief. One of the ambassadors whispered, He called His Majesty a liar. The engineer nodded, and survived. Another whispered, Actually, His Majesty seemed happy. Silence. Nobody understood. Not at all. The sun had already begun to set by the time Kazuki returned home. His house sat near the river. Small, simple, stone walls, wooden roof, a vegetable garden in the back, a fishing rod leaning beside the door. Home. He opened the door. Immediately, thud! A bag hit him in the face. Ow! Kazuki! His mother marched toward him with terrifying speed. A woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and an apron covered in flour. You forgot! Kazuki blinked. About what? You are leaving tomorrow. Oh. You said, oh? Kazuki scratched his cheek. I remembered. When? 20 minutes ago. She nearly fainted. You're impossible. His father looked up from the table and laughed. That's our son. Stop encouraging him. I'm not encouraging him. You're smiling? Maybe. His mother sighed. Then she folded her arms. Pack. I still have time. You have one evening. That's plenty. She pointed toward his room. Now. Kazuki sighed. Yes, mother. 2 hours later. His room looked like a battlefield. Clothes everywhere, books everywhere, bags upside down, a fishing spear somehow sticking out of the ceiling. His mother stood at the doorway. Silence. Long silence. Then, what exactly are you doing? Packing. Silence. This? Yes, she pointed. Why are there 20 knives? You never know. Why is there rope? You never know. Why is there dried meat enough for 6 months? You really never know. She rubbed her temples. Clothes? I forgot. She stared. You forgot clothes. I can still pack them. She looked toward the heavens. Why me? His father laughed so hard, he nearly fell from his chair. Then, knock, knock, knock. "Kazuki!" The door burst open. Mira entered, then another friend, then another, then another. Within seconds, his house was full. Apparently, the entire village had heard. Which wasn't surprising. Dawn Valley somehow knew everything. Mira crossed her arms. "So," Kazuki looked up. "So? You're leaving?" "Apparently." She threw a pillow at him. "You sound like you're going fishing." "It's only 1 year." Silence. Then her expression softened. "Yeah." Suddenly the room became quiet. 1 year. That wasn't exactly short. A strange feeling settled over everyone. One of his friends forced a smile. "You'll finally meet elves." Another grinned. "And beastmen. And giant cities. And foreign food." Mira frowned. "He'll probably get lost." "I won't." "You got lost 3 times this week." "Those were accidents." "You got lost in our own village." "That happened once. 3 times." Silence, maybe twice. Everyone laughed, yet their smiles seemed a little sad. Kazuki noticed, for some reason, his chest felt strange. Night arrived. The village square glowed with lanterns. Tables had been prepared. Food covered every surface. Meat, bread, fish, fruit, entire barrels of juice. Kazuki blinked. "What's this?" An old woman smiled. "Your farewell banquet. Isn't this too much?" "Nonsense." "It absolutely is." More people arrived, then more, then more. Eventually, it looked like the entire valley had gathered. Kazuki looked around, speechless. Mira smiled. "See?" "What?" "You're loved, idiot." Silence. Someone put food into his hands. Someone else ruffled his hair. Another person hugged him. Another wished him luck. Another reminded him to eat. Another told him to write letters. The noise filled the square. Laughter, conversation, music. For the first time, Kazuki realized something. He had lived here all his life. These people weren't just neighbors. They were family. His chest tightened. Then, "Move!" A familiar voice. The crowd parted. Lord Ren approached carrying an enormous wooden box. Kazuki blinked. "What's that?" "A gift." "Why is it so big?" "Open it." Kazuki lifted the lid. Silence. Inside, books. Lots of books. Maps, journals, blank notebooks, pens, small tools, even a compass. He looked up. "You made this?" "Mostly." "Why?" Lord Ren smiled. "Because you're going to see places I haven't seen." Kazuki frowned. "Haven't seen?" "Of course. You've traveled everywhere." Lord Ren coughed. "Not everywhere." "You know everything." "I absolutely do not." Silence. The villagers looked away, because they also thought he somehow knew everything. Kazuki looked at the box again. There was one final item, a small leather notebook. Blank. Lord Ren picked it up. "This one is important." Kazuki accepted it. "What's it for?" "Write." "About what?" "Everything. The food, the people, the buildings, the things that surprise you." Kazuki blinked. "Why?" Lord Ren smiled. "Because when you come back," he gently tapped the notebook, "I want you to teach me." Silence. Kazuki stared, then laughed. "You really don't know everything, That's strange." "I know." They both laughed. Neither noticed that several visiting merchants at another table were staring. One whispered, "His Majesty wants to learn from a child." Another nodded. "He asked him to teach him." Their expressions became complicated, because in other nations, rulers demanded knowledge. They never admitted ignorance. Yet here, their king openly did. Strange. Very strange. The stories. As the night grew darker, people began telling stories. Mostly embarrassing stories. About Kazuki. When he was 10, he jumped into the river because he thought he could catch fish with his hands. Laughter. When he was 12, he tried to make tree sap into candy. Laughter. When he was 14, he accidentally built a water wheel. Silence. Kazuki blinked. Why is that embarrassing? Everyone looked at him. Lord Ren coughed. Actually, the village chief pointed, we still use it. Oh, you built something useful by accident? Oh, you don't think that's strange? Should I? Silence. Lord Ren suddenly looked amused, very amused. Mira noticed. Why are you smiling? No reason. There is definitely a reason. Nope. Again, that smile, as if he knew something nobody else knew. Duri, the banquet finally ended. People returned home. Lanterns went dark. The village slept. Except one office remained lit. Lord Ren sat behind his desk. Silence. Then a shadow moved. Another appeared. 2 figures dressed entirely in black knelt before him. No sound, no footsteps. As if darkness itself had taken human form. Lord Ren looked up. There you are. Neither spoke. They simply waited. Lord Ren sighed. Kazuki leaves tomorrow. Yes, Your Majesty. A woman's voice, calm. Another spoke. A man. Do you have orders? Silence. Lord Ren looked out the window. For some reason, he smiled. Kazuki is a good boy. Yes. Kind. Yes. Helpful. Yes. He also forgets things. Silence. Frequently. Yes. He also accidentally creates problems. Silence. Frequently. Yes. Lord Ren folded his hands. I have concerns. Neither shadow moved. He has never left Ashera. Silence. He genuinely believes our way of life is normal. Silence. He has absolutely no idea how unusual this place is. Long silence. The female operative finally spoke. That may cause difficulties. Lord Ren looked at her. It absolutely will. The male operative sighed. He is going to cause incidents. Without question. Accidentally. Almost certainly. Silence. Lord Ren rubbed his temples, then looked at them. Follow him. Both raised their heads. Protect him? If necessary. Reveal yourselves.